Yeah, before I even start, I kind of saw the news this morning on Mike Leach. Just give our thoughts and prayers to Mississippi State and the entire athletic department, Mike's family. It was always a fun interview to watch. I enjoy watching a lot of football, as you guys know, and he was one of the better ones to pay attention to with his quotes and thoughts. So sad to see him go. But as far as tonight's game, I mean, this is a better Memphis team than last year's team, in my opinion. I think Penny's done a really good job getting an older group in there. They're veterans. I mean, you see how many seniors they played. One point there in the second half for a while, we had 4 freshmen on the floor. So, we had various points we could have pulled away from. I thought we should have pulled away and just couldn't get the stops we needed to. So you got to give Memphis a ton of credit for hanging in there. They could have gone away. I think we were up 9 there, trying to push it to 10, just could never put them away. So, we didn't play great on offense for a large stretch of the game. Our defense was good, and then our defense kind of fell apart in the second half. But, I say this without it being in class right now, I thought our student section was great. The crowd got super loud. We needed stops. Sometimes we didn't get them for them, but I enjoyed crowd's energy. Our defense, we gave up too many twos, but we did a decent job from 3. They didn't hit a 3 until that last one with 0.6 seconds to go. So did a decent job guarding the 3-point line. Our free throw shooting was not good. Obviously, I think we were 8 for 15, if I remember right, at one point, 8 for 14. I think we missed the first one in the second half. So I think we ended up finishing 21 of our last 25, which, I just kind of told the guys, like, when you're locked in, you're locked in. We got to get a little better locked in earlier, but last year we had 2 big wins. Gonzaga, Houston, went to Memphis and lost and really played super lethargic. This was not one of our better performances tonight, but still good to come out with a win. You got to give the guys credit. They got some stops and scored it when we needed to late. So, Brandon was good in the second half, struggled early in the first half with only 3 points, had 21 in the second half. I thought, Clowney got the hard hat again. So we've got different guys stepping up. We need to get some other guys playing a little better, but it's nice to have the depth we have, with Nimari out with the surgery on his wrist. I thought Jaden Bradley did a pretty good job defensively at times. And, we obviously didn't do a great job as a whole on Davis. He dropped 30 on us. So we got to, figure out a little better than that. So, but we'll give the guys tomorrow off, get back after Thursday, go Thursday, Friday, and get ready to play Gonzaga Saturday. Another big game. We don't have too many bad games on our schedule.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned Nimari. Do you have kind of a time frame for how long he'll be out? And another kind of housekeeping thing, didn't see Coach Hodgson on the bench. Do you have an update on him?
Nimari's time frame is 6 to 8 weeks. So it's similar to what Herb had, but we don't want to bring him back with a cast on his hand. He's not Herb that's going to pull down 17 rebounds and can kind of play him as a center on offense. He's a shooting guard. So shooting guards need to be able to catch, pass, dribble, shoot. So we're going to bring him back when he can play with a brace on his hand, not a cast. So that's why it'll be a little bit longer, but same injury that Herb had our first year here. And then Hodgson's out sick. We just didn't want him to get the rest of the team. It's just an illness. He'll be back with the team Saturday as long as he's feeling better. But he met with Dr. Bittner. We just want to make sure the team we didn't put any illness through the rest of the team.
You talked about Davis and obviously, having a big night. Just what made him so difficult to slow down? And, with Nimari out, kind of where do you guys turn to next? Is it just going to have to be relying on depth, especially when you're, facing top end shooting guards?
I mean, I don't have the answer to that right now. I think we're gonna have to wait and see. We thought Jaden had done a pretty good job. He struggled at times against Davis tonight. Ryland, I thought, did a decent job. He fouled him on the one. Darius got the one big stop late in the game. We put, a little bit more size on him. Kept shooting the pull-ups. We're going to have to figure it out. You know, the smaller guards are having problems because he's just kind of pulling up on them. Bigger guards are having issues because he's going by them. We don't have Herb Jones here this year, so we're going to have to figure something out a little bit better. So I'll say this: Ryland asked for him repeatedly, so we let him have him. And you know, he fouled him on the one. He's got to do a better job not fouling, but I thought he played him pretty hard. Darius was asking for him. We gave Darius a shot. You know, he fouled him about 40 feet from the rim. So there's a want to from guys on the team. Jaden Bradley wanted him, but you can't foul him. I mean, it's like, you know, you foul him, he goes to the free throw line, he didn't miss. He's 8 for 8. It's like guaranteed 2 points. So we've got some guys that want to do it that I think can do it. We just got to get them to get a little bit better and do it without fouling.
Yeah, Brandon Miller, even, you know, whether it be last game or this game, even when he's not on, he still finds a way to make plays and be, I guess, locked in. What do you think is behind that for him?
I think he wants to win. I think he's a kid that's really invested in Alabama basketball, wants to make us as good a team as we can be. And, you know, when we need him to rebound, defend, get some deflections, he's been able to do that for us. So, you know, he passed the ball pretty well tonight too. I mean, he had five assists and only 2 turnovers, which, you know, we needed some guys to be able to get some assists without turning it over. We had 19 turnovers tonight. So I thought he was pretty good with a lot of that stuff. And then I didn't think he forced the issue too much. You know, in the first half, he kind of let the game come to him and ends up with 24 points after only having 3 in the first half. So I think he shows some patience, some willingness to involve his teammates like he needs to, and he ended up with a pretty good game here tonight.
You've talked about Javon's leadership and what he's been able to do, but he's been struggling a little bit on the court. Just how do you kind of help him get through with that? And, you know, how important is he going to be moving forward?
Yeah, I thought he would be a little bit better against the way they played, just because they opened the floor up so much and be able to get downhill. He wasn't able to practice all summer and fall. I mean, he just was able to practice a month or so ago. So he's got to get some reps in and get his confidence back. And we're going to keep working with him, helping him, try, you know, maybe we get some highlights of him playing really well from a couple of years ago. But I mean, yeah, we need him to play better, obviously, especially now that Nimari's out. Like, we need our guards playing better. There's more minutes for some guards. You know, we put Jaden Bradley in the starting lineup. So now it's not him and Jaden both on the bench. He's in there. So now JQ's that first guard off the bench. I'm trying to get him. He actually ended up playing more minutes than Jaden did as a starter. But yeah, I agree. He struggled a little bit. He knows he's struggling. We got to get him going. So yeah. Maybe on offense, you know, maybe he's pressing a little bit, but me and him had a good talk this afternoon. He knows we've got maybe the most talented offensive team around him that he's ever played with. He made the statement to me. So he knows he's got shooters, and, you know, he can get, he doesn't, from what I've heard from him, I don't think he feels the pressure like he did last year. So I think he's just got to get his confidence back. Need him to have one really good game here and get him rolling again.
Coach, when the rankings came in earlier this week, when you guys have a top 5 on your name, do you see, and we covered with the football team, they say you get your best bet every time with the team that plays you. You got Gonzaga coming up. Are you seeing that with your team, the pressure of every team's going to give them your best shot to try to upset you now, like you guys just did this Saturday?
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. I mean, there's a veteran talented Memphis team. If they could have got this win tonight, it would have been a huge win. They'd have made it in the top 25. So we're going to get everybody's best shot. Gonzaga's been a Final Four team, number 1 ranked team in the country. They're going to come in as underdogs in Birmingham, trying to upset us, which is a little bit different role than, you know, we went up there last year with the same mindset. We were going to upset them. So guys are going to have to understand, like, we're going to get everybody's best shot. We're going to have to play better. You know, we got Memphis is a good team, and Gonzaga is a good team. We didn't put too many cupcakes on this schedule for a reason, and our guys are answering the bell. So, you know, with the schedule we've had to be 9-1 right now, says a lot about the group of kids we've got, because the only loss we have is to UConn, and I looked on KenPom this morning. UConn was number 1 in the country on the with the analytics. So they're a really good team. That's their only loss. So our guys have answered the challenge. Tonight was not one of our better nights, but we were good enough to beat a really good Memphis team when we weren't playing at our best. So yeah. I mean, you're right. I think we're getting everybody's best shot. We're at least going to get a great effort out of all of our opponents to try to beat us.
Hey, Coach, I talked to Chris Stewart before the game, and, he's been covering Alabama basketball for 21 seasons. And one thing that he said about this team is that it is a truly special team compared to any other team he's covered. In your own opinion, week after week, how do you feel about this team and what makes them, as their coach, so special, in your opinion?
I mean, I think they all are really, truly for the team. Like even tonight, some guys didn't play well. They're upset they didn't play well, but it's more they're upset because they let their team down, not they're upset because their individual numbers weren't great. I mean, like Quinerly didn't play great. He knows it. He's down on himself a little bit. Didn't play great at Houston. He's great. I mean, he's happy the team won, knows he needs to play better to help the team, but he's not mad about personal numbers. I just think we've got a group of kids that pulls for each other, that challenges each other. Noah Gurley played a pretty good game tonight. Wasn't in the second half. We kind of went with, Noah's more of a 4. At the 5, we went with Charles and Noah Clowney, and they were small, so we went small with Brandon at the 4, and he didn't play. He had a good game, didn't play as much maybe in the second half as he wanted, and he just kept coaching the guys every time out, even though he wasn't in. Just we got to get there. I mean, he was really invested. So we saw that a lot with year 2 when we won the SEC regular season tournament. Alex Reese, Herb Jones, just keep them in, coach. They're playing great. Like we got a lot of that going on this team. So, and we're deep, and we got some talent, and we've got a good mix of veteran guys, freshmen. So, and the guys get along. I think they like each other as far as I can tell, which is, it's a good thing. They want each other to do well.
You kind of touched on it earlier, but Darius Miles has played the most he's played all season. Just what did you see from him today? And do you think he's one of the players that would be directly affected minutes-wise with Nimari's injury?
We got a lot of guys that are going to get a chance to play more minutes with Nimari out. Darius, one of them. I think Darius has kind of stayed locked in. He's got some length, athleticism. We needed somebody a little longer to guard. He was asking for him. I thought he played pretty well. He came in and hit the 1-3. He goes 1 of 2. He's 2 of 2 at the line. I thought, 5 rebounds in 13 and a half minutes. He played hard, got some stops, and he's a veteran guy that's been in some big games and made some big plays for us in the past. So, hopefully, we can get him to practice well and get some confidence up that, we need everybody to take care of the ball. He's not the only one struggling with turnovers, but he's got some stuff that we can use, so he'd be one. Obviously, Jaden Bradley started, Quinerly, Rylan Griffin. I think there's a lot of guys that could take those 20 minutes or so that Nimari was playing.
Yeah, Coach, from day one, you guys have made a commitment to schedule as tough as you can. And so as you go through the middle of this stretch, what do you, first off, as a coach, learn most from these games, win or loss? And then what do you think that the players take away the most from these games in this stretch?
I think every game you got to learn a little something, like North Carolina game, we got a little confidence that we can win some close games late, 4 overtimes. There's plenty of end of game situations. We still didn't do a great job inbounding the ball here today. We got to get better at it. You look at the UConn game, we learned we got to get a little tougher. We learned we got to not give up the runs we gave up. I think it's every game there's something new you can learn, and as long as you're getting better, whether you win or lose, the goal is to be playing your best basketball come February and March. And to me, playing bad teams, if this was a 200 plus ranked team in the country, you could play like we played, win by 30, and everybody thinks they're great. Well, our guys know that they didn't play very well because Memphis exposed them. We got a lot of stuff we got to get better at before we play Gonzaga. And I think they're all locked into getting better. So I think when you play tough teams, you learn your strengths and weaknesses a lot quicker, and you can start to fix your weaknesses a lot quicker. So, and now you got to get some confidence too. I don't think it'd be smart to schedule all 13 non-conference games like, Memphis, Gonzaga, Houston. Like, you need to have some games where some guys can build some confidence, and we've got, a few of those on the schedule. But I don't think it's smart to schedule 10 or 11 of those. I think you got to play some tough teams. And here's the thing too, like last year, we're not a 6 seed in the NCAA tournament if we don't beat Houston, Gonzaga, Baylor. Well, you can't beat them if you don't put them on a schedule. So like the wins this year, like we've got some really good wins. Well, if you're scheduling scared and just want to schedule a bunch of wins, you're not going to put those games on the schedule. You can't win them if you don't play them. So we're going to play them. We're working on next year's schedule. It's going to be just as tough as this year's schedule. Thanks.